How many of you are thinking of buying a home? You already did. James, I know you did. How close are we? Janice, how close are you to buying?
Within a year.
A year? Okay. And buying in Southern California?
Yeah.
What part?
Maybe San Diego.
Okay. And how is the market in San Diego right now?
Pretty bad.
So you can get a decent deal? Okay. So if you can get a decent deal, fine. Most people this day and age are getting FHA loans. So let's say you buy a house for $200,000 right now. Okay. You're going to put 3.5% down. That's $7,000. Your loan, your mortgage amount, which is going to be a little bit more because you'll have fees, but it's $193,000. Your payment on that, with taxes and insurance and all that kind of stuff, is probably going to be somewhere between $1,600 and $1,750 a month for 30 years. 30-year fixed mortgage, right? 92% of your payment, the first 8 years, goes towards interest only. 8% of this payment goes towards principal on this mortgage. Okay, and that's it. So out of that, let's call it 10%, is $160 a month goes into this balance. So over 12 months, that's $1,200, that's about $2,000. Gets paid off every year. Okay? So if you stay in this house for 6 years, let's take that back, because you won't stay in any house for 6 years generally, especially your first one. You'll stay in it for 3 or 4. So let's say 4 years, you pay off $8,000. Now you owe $185. That's the quote-unquote payoff. Okay? Whatever the market does, let's say it improves just a little bit and you end up selling the house for $205. And you go, I'm sitting pretty, I'm going to make 20 grand on this deal. But you forget there's a 7.5% realtor commission if you sell it with a realtor. So 7.5% of 205 is $15,000. So now we're up to $200,000, right? And your payoff's actually about another $1,600 because the way funky mortgage math works. So in reality, what you're cashing out of this new property after 3 years is about $2 grand or $3 grand. So I don't tell you that to scare you away from buying, but to let you know that if you intend on buying a home, especially now, that you've got to consider staying in it for a length of time that makes sense to own it. Or if you buy one, buy a place that you can rent out a few rooms to offset your cost and know that you could turn it into a rental property and it'll cash flow at some point. Because right now, the way that real estate is improving, you will not make money on a new home. You won't make flat out. You could stay there 4, 5, 6, 7 years. You more than likely will not make money when you go to sell it because of the other expenses that you have. There are ways around this. You can do biweekly mortgage payments, and we've got a mortgage acceleration software that I can show you that works really, really well. But the bottom line is, I don't want you to go out and buy the dream home right away. When you first, especially if you're going out looking at your first home, go get a fixer-upper. Go buy a foreclosure. Go buy something that needs a little TLC, not the one that you walk in and you go, oh, this is it, I don't have to do anything, right? Because those are the really expensive ones. And I'm telling you, the real estate right now, and will be in 2012 and 2013, it's cheap. If you're looking for the right deals, you can find them. I can buy a house in Des Moines, Iowa for 25 grand that's worth 85 grand. And I can rent it out for about $750 a month. So think about, for the finance people in here, what the cash on cash return if I invest $25,000 and I make $8,000 a year on 20, let's call it 20,000 for simple math. What's the cash on cash return? Beep, boop, bop, boop, beep, boop, 40%. 40% return. Can you get that in the stock market? Not likely. Okay, but you can in real estate if you do it right. And the way we do it, soft blankie in the banky. You get enough soft blankie in the banky, that's the opportunity fund, right? We leverage the other real estate that we have to go buy and pay cash for a property, and that property then buys all the stuff that we want. In the next 5 years, Jen and I will have paid off our primary residence. We'll have 3 or 4 homes, hopefully, that will be paid off in full, and all of the income derived from those rental properties will allow us to go do whatever we want, whenever we want. In effect, we will have retired.